Well, Sabaina, I have a funny feeling we're live.
Hi, Dan. How
How
are
you
you?
doing? I'm good, I'm
Doing great,
good.
thanks. Can you believe it's already the second installment of the Dan Cooper Group investment series?
I can't. I, no, no, I
I feel
can't.
like we just did this. We just did this like last week.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good timing, and I mean the last podcast went so well that I don't know. There's so much interest, so I thought we need to do this more often because people are hungry for knowledge, and the market's
Mhm.
changed, so it's all
Well, the
good.
response to the first webinar has been amazing and overwhelming. So we'll give our viewers a couple of seconds to join in. And people are so hungry for knowledge regarding real estate and real estate investments. So what a great time for us to come together. So I know that you are busy because I can't get a hold of you these days. So tell me what's going on.
You know what? Saying I'm busy is probably an understatement. It's a very vibrant market right now, and a lot of people don't know this because they've been living cocooning inside for the last 4 months. So, obviously it's something that we've had to do, but there's a lot of pent up demand. And so, I mean, if I retract for a second, just tell you, like, we've had a great real estate market for 20 years.
Mhm.
And, we had some taxes come out. We had the foreign buyers tax. We had 5 interest rate hikes in the last 2 years. Stress testing was January 2018. So just a lot of, not so smart moves by the Liberal government. And so it really slowed the market down and it sent all the foreign investors away. So our market was, slowly moving in 2019, 2020. But it was really Christmas time when our market bounced back. So December and January and February were fantastic. And then obviously COVID, and this is something new and exciting for everybody. So we've had to deal with that. But, obviously down the road, we're going to look in our rear view mirror, and this is going to be a bump in the radar. It's going to be a blip on the screen, and it's going to be business as usual. But funny you
Totally.
should say that. Am I busy? Well, yes, because for the 30 years I've been in this business, it seems like every year I sell the same amount of real estate. It
Mhm.
happens at different times depending on global events. And it's a tiny little world now with technology and, you
Right.
know, everything that's going on. So it's to the point now where the market reacts minute by minute. And so obviously we've retracted for the last 4 months, but it doesn't mean people don't want to buy and sell. So we have a lot of people sitting on the sidelines waiting for some good news. And so that's why I'm so busy.
Yeah, and I know you've been on lots of listing appointments in the last few weeks, and the inventory seems to be coming back a little. Is it tight still? Is there a shortage of listings on the market?
That's been a problem that's plagued us for the last 6 months. And that's good and bad. And I suppose every situation from a fiscal perspective, there's the good and the bad. So you just got to look at whatever market you're thrown, try and find out the opportunities in it. So you're right. There's a lot of people not listing. They're starting to now, but what's the point of listing your home in the middle of a pandemic?
Right.
Those people are just bringing their homes to the market now, and you can see it in the numbers. I mean,
Mhm.
I've got a lot of data that I can share with people who are online after the fact, but we get these stats. I get so many stats, and it's funny because when you read them, it's actually quite exciting now.
Right.
12%, the market is up 12%. So this is the Toronto Real Estate Board. And so that's the whole area. And we've got how many agents working out there? Probably about 55,000 agents, which encompass the whole
A lot
Toronto
of
real
it.
estate board.
Yeah.
But if we look at year over year from June of 2019 to 2020, our market overall on detached homes is up 12%. The number of sales is down by 1% because, as you say, that there's your tight inventory. And then average time in the market is down by 14%. So it just shows you that the market has come to life.
Hmm.
And I think two things, the COVID thing is coming to an end and interest rates are at unprecedented
Low.
rates.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, right now you can get like long-term money fixed for just over 2%. That's insane.
Crazy. Yeah.
So you know, a lot of people want to buy a home, and obviously, or buy more than one home and take advantage of the, you know, the all the features that go with that. And so that's kind of what we want to talk
Free
about
money
today.
that you can borrow. So I want to welcome everyone. We have a lot of people online right now. So welcome everyone to the Dan Cooper Group Investment Series. Very quickly, we're going to get into the thick of things. So Dan, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, and then I'm going to let you take it from here. So the market has picked up, and what I know from working with you and other real estate companies is that homes that are priced market appropriately are selling really quickly, right? So we have seen a shift in the market. Do you see this trend continuing?
I do. And I think, as I said, we had a bump in the radar screen. That is mostly behind us now. We're still recovering from that. But I think you're going to see what didn't take place in the spring. Typically, we always get a very hot spring market, typically. Well, everything's delayed. So right now we're going into summer with a very vibrant market. So there's a lot of trades going on. Everybody's up. Every real estate agent is running around with buyers and sellers. And so we're playing catch up. Everybody needs to buy and sell homes. That doesn't go away. And the beauty is the low interest rates. So everybody's trying to buy and invest accordingly and take advantage of those rates.
So the spring market has just been delayed and has kind of hit in the summer. That's what I'm hearing. So any fun stories you want to share with me? Have you done any like crazy fun deals lately? You always have a story to tell.
You know, yeah, even last week, I mean, I guess the first step in seeing a recovering market is you see the high end start to go, because even during COVID, you know, we were selling homes up to $1 million all day long because, you know, the first time buyers, and it's bizarre to think that you're spending almost $1 million to get a detached home, introductory detached. But the market has been very alive during the low price range, but the high price range is starting to go. And for example, just last Friday, I sold a home to some buyers of mine, and the home that we bought sold for just under $6 million
Wow.
in downtown Oakville. But
Wow.
yeah, but it was on the market for a year. So I go in with my offer. What happens? I'm in competition. What?
Seriously?
So here we are. Probably, you know, we had to go right to our top dollar that we were prepared to. We had to take out our conditions. You know, we had to increase our deposit, give them the closing date they wanted. We had to do everything to win.
Check.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
but the cool thing is, you're saying any stories. Well, to think that the high end is moving, you know, is more fuel to suggest that the market has recovered. You know, and even last week we had several sales in the $1.5 million range. You know, that's a very hot market as well. And they're selling in multiple bid situations over list. I think everyone we sold last week, there was 5 of them. They all sold for more money than we were asking. So what does that tell you? It tells you the market's alive, it's on fire, and we have no inventory.
Fantastic. So we spoke a lot about listings and sellers. What about buyers? What's happening with the buyers? You work with a lot of buyers, so does your team?
Yeah, we do. You know, we have a buyer's database, and we have a lot of buyers in our database looking for product. And so it's even to the point where we've built out algorithms, and we work that in with our, you know, we have a database in-house of probably 15,000 people. So we're trying to find product for people. And so the second something is available, or even before it's available, we hear about it. So we just prioritize and make sure anybody we're dealing with gets first kick at it. And right now you need a really good agent and a good support team to deliver, because there's a lot of competition. And, you know, there's stories. I mean, there's deals we've been working on where $1 million property is getting 15 offers. So
Wow.
yeah, you really have your game. Yeah, you have to have your game together in order to win.
So you're able to matchmake, you're playing matchmaker as a real estate agent because you have this buyer database and you have these exclusive listings that no one knows about, and you were able to bring those together. I know your team does that quite often as well, and really well. So my last question for the night, you know, DCG, Dan Cooper Group, has always been super innovative, always cutting edge, always looking forward. You have a fantastic team of sales agents with you. What are your future plans or current plans to continue to stay there and to continue to innovate?
You know, it's really just, I don't know, quality over quantity, to be honest. And servicing the client, you know, the basics. I guess if I could use one word, my team, we have a team of 12 agents, and we're very passionate about the business. So everybody shares the same vision as I do, and I only hire people that are as good as or better than I am. And I'm not kidding when I say that. So I surround myself with good people, and we have a lot of fun, but yet we're dialed in. And I just make sure I really utilize the strengths in all my various administrators and agents to make sure that we get the best out of them to offer the latest products and materials and services. And, you know, funny, the real estate market's changing, but day by day. So it's a very digital world now, and now it's a very virtual world. So we're just, you know, making sure that we do what is necessary in order to move product, you know, sell homes. And so, you know, during the peak in April and May of the pandemic, there was deals we were doing where we weren't even seeing the homes. Everything was online, everything was virtual. So it's crazy. I think it's going to change, because typically when people are spending, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on a property, they want to do a walkthrough. But it's nice to see that the marketplace is becoming more relaxed.
Right, yeah. And I think that not all real estate agencies or companies are made equal. And it's important to align today for the consumer with the best and with the right agent who's able to transact real estate in any kind of a market. And you're doing that quite well. So thank you. And I'm going to let you take it away. I know you have a special guest on tonight. So let's have some fun. Let's rock and roll.
Well, you know, I mean, I think the focus tonight is investing in real estate. And, you know, why invest in real estate? Well, I can give you a million reasons, but, you know, the big things are, it's you enjoy passive income, you know, you get stable cash flow from properties. There's huge tax advantages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gives you a chance to diversify your portfolio and really use leverage to your advantage. Because, you know, when you buy a home these days for $1 million and then 5 years it's worth $2 million, you've got all this equity built up in the home. Well, why not utilize that equity, pull it out and buy a second or a third property? Because we all know that, you know, real estate historically has done 6, 7, 8% per year. So there's huge advantages to build wealth through additional real estate. And so we didn't really take it seriously, because a lot of times we get involved with a client, we do a deal, and then we sort of part company, stay friends, but yet, you know, that's it. But now we ask the extra questions, and we're saying, well, what else are you doing? You know, and because it makes total sense, because I would sell a house 20 years ago for $350,000, and now they're calling me back to sell that home, and it's 1.325.
Wow.
Then we're sitting down, and then I'm realizing, oh my God, everybody has a lot of equity tied up in their homes. And I always say the same thing, because we get together, we do an analysis, and we realize what they paid. And I go, well, you should have bought the whole street. And we have a laugh. But in hindsight, that's probably what they would have done, because as we know, hindsight's an exact science. So why not take advantage of investing in real estate? So saying that, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people makes a lot of sense. So my guest speaker tonight is Simos, we call him, Papailias. He's a managing partner for REC Canada. He's a very busy real estate broker. He's got great relationships with all the developers and builders throughout the city and surrounding areas, to the point where he is a huge valuable asset to me, because he identifies and uncovers the opportunities. So he's got the family and friends deals. He will work a deal out with the developers of a high-rise tower and get a better interest rate, better closing costs, and you know, better terms, you know, and then rental guarantees after it closes. So anybody that wants to deal in real estate or buy additional real estate, why not buy stuff that out of the starting gate is a good deal? So that's why I turned to Simos. And is he on? Can we get him on?
Well, I can't think of anybody better than you and Simos to talk about this.
There he is. Hey, buddy.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Fantastic.
I've been waiting here for a few minutes and just watching. You guys are on Facebook, so I was watching you guys on Facebook.
Nice.
It's awesome. Good evening to you, and good evening to your amazing audience, buddy.
Fantastic. And you know what, Simos, I'm gonna start things off. There's a quote that Albert Einstein said years ago, and he just said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. And, you know, it just makes you realize that if we could have done things right, shoulda, woulda, coulda, we all would have bought much more real estate in our portfolios back in the day. But having said that, you know, the future is here now and the opportunities are here tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, I wanna thank you so much for extending the invite to me, and to be very clear, because you made such a kind introduction, and I appreciate that. We work so hard to make this all happen for our investors. I mean, I have my own very significant base of people that I work with consistently, and your group is. I'm so proud to be able to service you and your clients, and you're like, and I'm not here to kind of blow anybody up. The whole point is you're a legendary broker in Oakville. You've committed your entire life to that market. And as from a broker to broker, kudos to you. I personally aspire one day to be a 25 and 30-year agent just like you. And I work very hard to do so. I was in Burlington the other day, and I was speaking to one of my clients, and funny enough, I'm a commercial broker by trade, and we're working on a commercial transaction, and I roll up to his house, and your sign is on his lawn. I was like, you know, I sell real estate, right? He goes, but you're not Dan Cooper and you don't live in Burlington. I said, no, kudos to you. I said, no, I sure don't. So yeah, I mean, there's not too many people in Burlington or Oakville or Milton for that matter, that don't know your sign or haven't seen your marketing campaign. So kudos to you. Just to get to the point, and just to be very clear, I do source investment inventory for the retail consumer, meaning that I don't supply inventory to REITs or institutional investors. I supply inventory to people like myself and yourself, the everyday investor, the guy who grew equity, the guy who saved his money, the guy who is looking to maximize and build wealth using things that are simple, straightforward. There's no complexity to this. Is it a process? Of course. Are we there to help along the way? Yes. And we have teams that do it all, like from the beginning to the end. Like, I'm the guy who sources it. You bring the buyer to the table with the property management services and the commitment to our investors' success going forward. That's what this is all about, is bringing value to our existing client base. And of course, above and beyond that, anybody who they refer to us, of course, we take care of them with white glove service. So that's what this is all about.
I love it. So I don't know. We talked about market conditions. I gave a bit of a market update. I don't know if there's anything you want to add from your perspective, because mine was more on the residential side. Are you seeing the same thing from the commercial perspective?
So commercial is just such a vast word. I'm not going to go into retail and institutional real estate because it's just not so relevant to the everyday guy or gal. But what I will say is that since COVID, since we went into stage 2, as many of you may have noticed, traffic on the 401 and the Gardner are back to normal levels. I mean, the city and the GTA has awoken, and they woke up the bear. Basically, like, these people, our fellow citizens, were all starved, meaning they all had moves to make, and they were all forced to stay home. So all these relocations of jobs, moving because of schools, upsizing, downsizing, smart sizing. I'm not sure if you covered this already, but like, the spring is now.
Yeah.
And it truly is. So we're seeing activity unlike any other July on record, obviously because of COVID. And in investment real estate, I literally 2 hours ago was at the GTA's biggest and craziest launch on record. Center Court Developments, our good friends at Center Court, Jason Lamb and his crew, they launched 199 Church Street. We don't have the details worked out, so it's not an offering for tonight, but like, they literally just launched a high-rise tower downtown Toronto, and they did so at the Docks Drive-In Theater. So myself, amongst an elite group of brokers that kind of start out the process on sales at the very first level, we're all sitting individually in cars 6 feet apart. We drive through the parking lot. They give us a little bag from O&B, and I know there's an O&B in Oakville, from O&B with some snacks. And we went to the drive-in and they did a presentation literally live during the day at a drive-in downtown to launch a high-rise tower.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way to get 100 brokers in a room now. You're not allowed to yet.
Yeah.
So these guys are getting creative. Real estate's nonstop. The demand is massive. So like on a unit, on any given tower right now with 300 or 400 suites, they're literally getting 2,000 reservations, reservation sheets. Unless you have those relationships, unless your broker does have genuine platinum access, and I'm not talking about stories on the internet and landing pages and nonsense, you're not going to get a unit, let alone get the unit you want. So there is true advantages in working with established brokers that represent the best interest of the consumer, not the developer.
Well, I mean, the beauty is, and I commend you for this. I mean, you know where the deals are, you know the right developers. You should probably tell me a little bit about the fact that you've aligned yourself with the right people, because there's a lot of people that build that and it never gets finished. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, it's all about location too, you know that.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about pre-construction, we can. It's a tremendous and very lucrative way to invest. Pre-construction has like the principles of it, and I'll tell you why we're going to go into this. Myself and my partner, Jazz, we literally review over 80 to 90 projects a year, every year. And out of those, we only get loud on anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 max. So out of 100 projects that we are asked to sell, where the developer says, hello, Simeon, like, would you like to see my project? This is what I'm working on. Would you like to bring your investors in? Would you like to bring your collaborators in? And they just don't pass our due diligence. And 90% of it, it's the price. So they're coming out the gate a little bit too high, where the income and the rentals on the back end are not going to make it work. So the delta is too significant. So in an area where rents are, for example, $2,000, I cannot have carrying costs of $2,700. It's that simple. Now, a lot of science and a lot of skill and experience goes into that thing. That's what we do. But for the investor, the first-time investor or the investor period, they don't need to know the nonsense. They're going to say, give me the pro forma, which is the analysis sheet. Let me take a look at the numbers.
Well, I know you find the good product, but more importantly, I think people need to understand the value, the beauty of compound interest and how that works. And more so, the ability that everybody has in order to lever themselves into using equity that's going to be paid for by a tenant. And so I'm just going to read something real simple here to get people warmed up. What is leverage? What is leverage? Leverage in real estate is using borrowed money to buy a property. When leveraging a property, you borrow funds from a lender to be able to purchase an investment property instead of having to cover the entire purchase price yourself. Being able to leverage your investment is one of the reasons real estate investing is so attractive. And a lot of people don't get this. They're scared, they're risk adverse. They need it explained to them, because honestly, every time I sit down with a client, and that's hundreds of clients a year, they all wish they had bought more real estate. So I just want you to sort of explain a little about how leverage works and how everybody has cash they didn't know they had.
Yeah, so I'm going to use that we're speaking to a regular family, regular household income. Father is a teacher. Wife works for the government. Regular household, just any regular household. Combined income of the home, let's call it 150 to 250,000. Let's talk about an Oakville typical scenario, Burlington typical scenario, typically a dual income home, household income between 120 to 240 is that market. So a lot of people in your audience will be able to identify with this,
right?
Whether it's less or whether it's more, it really doesn't matter. But couple gets a home, they start a family, or they're an established family, they bought a home. When you bought your home and it was $500,000 or $1 million, it doesn't matter. You put 20% down. That you know, because you did it. You put 20% down. If the home was $1 million, you put down $200,000. Makes sense. Mortgages at $800,000. Great. The day you bought that home, the home started appreciating. But the home did not appreciate using the $200,000 down payment that you made. The home started appreciating from the $1 million that you bought it for. So when that home went up by 5% a year for easy math, which is 50,000 a year, 50,000 the second year, 50,000 the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, and now your kids are too big. They all want their cars. You need to sell this home. You need to right size into a next. Your home, let's call it, is worth $1.5 million. At this time, your mortgage is down to 700,000 or 600,000. So you paid down your mortgage, your forced savings plan. Your house went up by 500,000, creating a $700,000 delta. But let's pretend you never paid down your home and it just went up by 500,000. Your $200,000 investment, because you never put $1 million down for the home, went up by 2.5 times. And I really hope everybody in this audience today takes that in. You put $200,000 down and you got that back plus 500. There is not, and because it's your primary residence, you have tax advantages that are so incredible that it's actually zero capital gains on your primary residence.
Now, Simos, I gotta chime in here. You're being ultra conservative,
Yes.
and you're not even taking into effect the compounding of the money, because in 2 years, if the $1 million goes to say 1.1, and next year that whole scenario goes up 5%, well, it's more than 50,000. So
That's right.
it keeps getting better and better and better. It's a win-win-win situation, and people don't typically do the math to see that.
And that's just it. I'm trying to use the roundest numbers possible. So even the very first time investor who maybe never thought of investing before really understands the power within their very current situation today and the amount of possibility that they have within their existing situation to make that into a beautiful portfolio that will take them through their retirement or through their whatever their financial goals or what their why to invest is. We can get them there in such a safe, in such an amazing way. And I truly hope that it comes through the words that we're using tonight, that I don't care who you are, if you own a property, if you bought property years ago, you're sitting on opportunity. Forget about the word equity or money or this, that, the other. You have a chance to really change your life. And it's incredible.
And the cool thing is aside from that, it just happens to be a really good market right now. And you have to look at the timing, because, you know, there's an ebb and flow in real estate. There's an ebb and flow in stocks. And, you know, like stocks obviously are more volatile. What happened at the beginning of the pandemic, you know, they went down the next day. What's cool is real estate did not go down. It was resistant, and it actually went up 1%. So if that doesn't send the message that you're looking for to prove what a great investment it is, what is there? So timing, and again, right now, it just happens to be a perfect time for buyers and sellers. So I know we're talking investing, which means we're buying, but even if you're selling real estate right now, it's somewhat of a seller's market. And prices are up and the confidence is there. Now, if you're buying, it's just as good a gain because you're getting uber cheap money. And so that means, like, I'm cut from the cloth from the days when real estate, like, interest was like 12%, 15%.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense, but back in the day, that's what we had to do. You know, the boom we had in the early 80s, I mean, people were paying 15 to 20%. And then the late 80s, when we had that bust, you know, it was 11, 12%. Now we're down to what, 2.2?
I mean, there's advertised rates of 1.99. It's crazy. We're talking about inflation rates or less. So literally, if you were to ask an economist what the cost of money is, the answer is zero.
Yeah.
So there's never been a time. So if you asked anybody what the best time when is the best time to buy real estate, they would have told you 5 years ago. And literally, this is the moment in time that if you were thinking of pulling the trigger on real estate investing, this is the time that you team up and you build your team of experts, your broker, your real estate focused lawyer, your real estate focused accountant. You sit down, and I know you offer a tremendous real estate action plan, like that intake where your client really goes deep into who they are and kind of the high level view of where they want to go. And they're sitting with Dan Cooper, or they're sitting with your senior guys on your team, and we generally consult as to what we think the best case scenario would be based on your risk tolerance, based on your goals, how aggressive or how conservative you are. Depending on where you want to buy property, like you can go as crazy as you want and you can go as reserved as you want. But the real estate market goes up and down, upwards. So, and if anybody wants to test it, the 2008 meltdown, the 2017 scenario, COVID right now that you were just mentioning. Yeah. Nice, slow, steady, up.
I mean, who knew? This was a test for me as well, just watching what would happen with real estate during the last 4 months, and to see that it was solid and up a point was like, I mean, I want to go out and buy more houses. I mean, hello. But what I wouldn't mind you touching on is, let's spend a bit of time talking about, like, if people want to refinance to access capital, it's actually easier than you think, but maybe you could touch on that for us.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the key here is to always work with a professional that serves your interests. Just like we're real estate brokers, we represent the interests of our clients. Mortgage brokers do the exact same thing we do, but for mortgages. Walking into any of the big 5 banks or walking into your bank, the bank represents their interests, and they're going to give you their given scenario of what's available to them based on where they're at with their shareholders and their options. A mortgage broker would sit down with you and is really going to take a look at your situation and put your application forward to the lenders that are investor friendly at the time. So not all banks right now are giving money away. A lot of them have slowed down and took a conservative approach because they got burnt by the non-payment of mortgages during COVID. Other banks are on the offensive, giving money to investors. You as a consumer would not know which bank is doing what, because they're not going to tell you that walking in the door. So building your team of experts, and in mortgage, is just as important as it is for us. They're going to help you take either the equity out of your home as a mortgage, or they're going to tell you that it's smarter for you to do it as a home equity line of credit. No matter how you do it, you're accessing money and equity that's currently inside your own home at a tremendous rate of interest that's so low, and you're taking that money to generate a higher return. And by taking that money out, you're not triggering any tax, you're not triggering anything anywhere. Other than that 2 or 3% that you're going to pay on interest on money you use, there is nothing that's going to cost you anything. And that money can generate true returns of 20, 15, 20, 30% a year, depending on what you do. So it's very powerful. And we're happy to consult. I mean, send us an email at hello@dancoopergroup.com.
Yeah, just hello@dancooper.com is perfect. I find the banks are actually lending a lot of money, and they want to lend money right now. They want to, inspire things they got going, and either it's a line of credit or a mortgage. I mean, I personally like mortgages better because then I can see them getting down paid, whereas lines of credit, you can write them off, but they stay the same. So obviously I'm a big mortgage guy, and right now I think everybody should get as much funding available to them as possible. Lock it in before rates, decide to change. But more importantly, what do you buy? Now, Simos, I know you're huge into pre-construction. You do a lot of condos in Toronto, but you're all over the place. You're in Barrie, you're in St. Catharines. You follow wherever the good real estate, and that typically happens to be wherever the GO train goes. Tell me a little bit about, I don't know, the good product, the location that you kind of focus on, and
yeah, I mean, right now we have some excellent product on the outskirts of the GTA in all directions, just like we do in Toronto. So to focus on some of the markets that we're doing right now, we have tremendous product in Oshawa, North Oshawa to the east. That is townhomes, all closing within 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what are they?
So the project is the project's called Symphony Towns. I believe it's already up on the site, and we can direct everybody to go take a look at it. But I mean, we've negotiated very special incentives that are investor friendly. We've negotiated rental guarantees. We've negotiated closing incentives and extended deposit structures. So going back to some of the advantages, yes, you're going to put down 20% on, let's call it a $500,000 townhome. However, how you make that 20% payment matters, because you're going to pay $20,000 now. You're going to pay $20,000 in 6 months. You're going to pay $20,000 in a year and a half.
Right.
So the actual aggregate return, if you really did the math scientifically, is ridiculous, because you're not parting with $100,000 today.
Right.
So not only is that money going to sit there and make you money as it appreciates with you doing nothing, you also have a rental guarantee for when it is ready. So you will literally do nothing other than collect checks, have positive cash flow, and appreciation over time.
I love it.
And this is Marlin Spring is a developer. Marlin Spring is a tremendous friend of both our organizations, and big shout out to them for always giving us early access to their projects. And Aaron Miller has been great to deal with, and we've put so many of our clients in there.
Well, why do you see so many people lining up on weekends and camping out at new home sales trailers? Obviously, because they want to get the latest product, thinking they're going to get a good deal, because they're buying sight unseen, probably crap locations, no special terms. They got to wait 2 or 3 years to hope it all turns out. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're still making really good money. So if I can take somebody like you and utilize your the things that
Well, that's the difference between a speculator and a real estate investor. A speculator doesn't ask questions. Right now, the market has been so hot that it's actually saved people like that otherwise would have been burnt.
Yeah.
But the market went up so high and so fast that it's actually saved even the people that went in blindly. But we obviously never recommend it. We always look for the smart buys and incentives that protect our clients. And this is what we do. And now moving from Oshawa to the north, Barrie, we have existing properties that were just built, and the developer is actually from Burlington. It's Valor Capital out of Burlington, and they've done a tremendous job. They built brand spanking new semis, 8 of them in a row. And we have rental guarantees on product that you can close on tomorrow. So like if you're looking for a long closing, or if you're looking for a short closing, again, it's tremendous. $3,800 a month guaranteed rental income. It's incredible.
How long?
2 years.
Unreal.
$500 a month cash flow, Dan. Like
you buy the property and they guarantee the rents for 2 years.
They're actually tenanted. They're tenanted.
Yeah.
They're turnkey.
Hello.
They're turnkey.
Well, I mean,
and this is what they do. And just to prepare you and your audience, in the next few months, we're going to be helping them launch the Waldemar right on the Burlington waterfront. Guess who's going to have very first access to that project? Dan Cooper Group is.
Right.
That's who. And this is local to your market.
You helped me out. I remember one of the first investments I did with you was that Young and Dundas. And obviously, I beat you up really hard to make sure I got the right deal. But
That's right.
Cool was, not only did you deliver, but you wound up getting me the penthouse with southwest exposure. So, and
that was funny. Like that was directly at the friends and family event where brokers aren't even allowed in the door.
Yeah.
So it's fun to be able to get into those events, and it helps to be an investor because and again, I mean, as time goes on, we're going to get into some pretty savvy and advanced ways to invest in real estate in the next few months. But like I personally invest in developments when the land deal is happening. So 5 years ago, the developer bought the land, and there's ways for investors to get into real estate that they never even dreamt of. So we'll get there in time over the DCG investment series, and it's very exciting. But yeah, when you bought that penthouse, that was friends and family. That was before platinum, before our regular real estate, which is almost impossible to get.
Well, I mean, I've always gotten in the investment side of it, and I've got my stuff in real estate for sure, and I love it. And so, to that end, since I'm been very passionate about the real estate space for a long time now, In fact, when I graduated, I was buying and selling homes. I don't know how I knew to do that, but I did, and it worked out quite well. So, now I want to pass these opportunities off to my clients. So we've got a big database, but the cool thing with doing podcasts, web seminars is we can reach out to a lot of people, and I can put them in touch with, specialists like you. So this is kind of cool. So where do we go from here? Obviously, they can come to my website. They can look at the material there, because there's no sense, trying to talk every deal now.
No.
But I'm going to post everything at dancooper.com/investments. And then they can call us. I'm very accessible.
Yeah, and again, the email address, the contact to your office, it's all easy to get. It takes 2 seconds. The whole point, I think, what needs to happen here in the what the call to action to every single person watching this right now, you got to start with a conversation of what excites you, what it is you want to do. At that point, if we're going to schedule a discussion, we're going to find out what you're actually capable of doing. So based on your current scenario, based on your current employment, your qualification, your tolerance for risk, and where you want to go. Like, you might have a couple of kids going to university downtown. Well, if you're going to pay rent, you're paying $3,500 a month. You have to be crazy to do that, because you can buy a condo and carry it for $2,900, and now you have an appreciating asset. So everybody's situation is different. Send us an email. Schedule a time. Really discuss the options. The opportunities are endless. There are always going to be opportunities on your website from today into forever. There's always going to be the current best opportunities. But the way to start is we need to make sure that you're going into the right opportunity. You're qualifying yourself for the best opportunity for you, not what we think is best. And the only way to do that is by going over your situation today.
No, you're very, very true in saying that. And I think the two messages that we touched on tonight, obviously, is understanding the power of leverage and also the magic of compound interest. And the fact that everybody has cash, they have equity in real estate that they probably don't realize they have access to. And then you couple that with amazing timing. And I probably wouldn't want to do these investment seminars if we were in the middle of a recession. But you know what? We haven't had one in so long. You probably won't, because we have so much immigration coming into the GTA that it just continues to buoy up the real estate field, because everybody needs a house and we're always undersupplied. So, it's a very positive experience. Everybody should aspire to buy more real estate. And I don't know, is there anything else that we didn't mention? Anything else you want to say?
I mean, not really. I just want people to be, what I want the takeaway to be is that people receive value from our conversation. Both Dan and I have been around for a long time and been really assisting clients every day in their biggest financial decisions. My ask to you is type in the comments below, whether you're watching on Facebook or you're on the webcast. Did you receive value from this? If you didn't, please tell us, and tell us what you want us to cover. If you did receive value from us, let us know, because that's why we do it. So I strive for it. I know how passionate Dan is, because we met at the top of our careers, and there's nothing that makes us more proud. And I definitely know I can speak for Dan on this, because he's told me this with full heart, and his heart's on his sleeve, of what it means to him when a client says thank you and when a job is well done. So to me, the biggest thing is feedback. Please let us know if we're doing a good job, and please let us know if we're not. More importantly.
I think you said all the right things there. It's funny, because I'm looking at all the chats we have with people online. I can't believe how many people joined in. So that's exciting. So obviously they're interested. I got one here I have to read, and it just says, "Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait."
100%. 100%. So let me add one, because that's one of my favorites. One of my great friends, Michael Saracini and Scott McGilvery, they have a real estate education company. We work with them so much. But I was at one of the events, and Scott was talking about people who try to time the market.
Yeah.
And there's no biggest mistake than people who think they know when to buy and to sell, because I can tell you for certain, I don't know when to buy or sell. And that's the truth. But it's not about timing the market. It's about timing in the market. So real estate is a long-term investment. I want everybody to know that I personally don't work with clients who flip real estate. It's too much for me. It's too much excitement. Real estate needs to be boring. That's the way I like it. I call it the get rich slow program, not the get rich quick program. So if you want to end up wealthy, nice, patience, conservative, good work. That's what you need to do.
And build that legacy.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I want to give credit where credit is due. I mean, Sabaina, who basically acted as moderator at the beginning, she's my brand development manager. She's really good in the marketing space. Always looking for new business. You can get her at Sabaina@dancooper.com. For me, anybody wants to chat, I'll personally get back to you. It's Dan@dancooper.com. And obviously, Simos, how do we get a hold of you, my friend?
If any, I mean, I'm not on the street transacting. I'm here. I'm here to consult for any one of your clients anytime, Dan. I would say reach out to Dan's team. And if you're looking for a few words with me, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'm happy to schedule a time to speak with you. But I no longer personally transact on the street. I source these opportunities for my broker friends and for our organization as well. Again, like I'm on social. You're more than welcome to reach out. But if it is regarding a business consult, you do have to go through the team, and the team has access to my schedule, and we can book you in. Not a problem.
Well, Simos, I appreciate that. And it was a real honor to have you part of this call because you are a wealth of information. You know everybody in the investment space. And I promise you that we're going to be back at you to buy properties. And I've got a growing list of the clients that want to be part of this and go for the ride with us. And so I'm all in. I mean, especially when I'm actively participating myself. I mean, that says something about the investments. And I've got you to cherry pick the good ones.
And I also participate. So it's not like I don't buy real estate. There's very few developments that we put out every year that I don't buy in. And it's typically because we have to serve our clients first. So I buy last. I'll buy the weird unit at the side of the building if I need to get in. But we give our clients obviously first access. So, but I buy a lot of real estate. My wife hates me. She goes, what happens if something happens to you? I don't even know what we have. So I do buy a lot of real estate. I believe in real estate very much. I'm extremely leveraged, and I advise every single one in your audience to count their blessings if they have property. Use what you have to grow, and we're here for you anytime.
That's beautiful. Well, I think we've covered everything off. I'm looking forward to lots of questions that we can answer, and we can do a monthly seminar at least.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thanks.
I really genuinely appreciate it. Everybody have a great night.
Thanks, Simos.
You bet.
Bye, everybody.